orange, they're green. Runners. Brandon's holding my coffee. We're just chatting while he brings it to me. Here he goes. Say hello. Quick. Come say hello. That's Brandon. He's our floor manager tonight. They're all laughing up there. Milan, thank you. Can I ask you to have that? Okay, here we go. 3 of the best tonight coming from all around Australia, and your letters tonight are these. Here we go. First letter. We're a little distraught, my husband and I, because our daughter wants to marry her cousin. What's wrong with that nowadays? Anything? What do the medicos say? Do we know? I think we do. I think we've discussed this before. Second letter tonight. Have you seen and heard the amount of gambling advertising on television, radio, and on the streaming services? Yep. I'm inundated with it. I don't know how anybody else puts up with it. Thank God someone's written in to acknowledge how bad it is. And the last letter tonight, how do I motivate this kid? He's 18, he's a student, sleeps till 11. Mum and Dad want him to go and get a job. All these letters, a terrific lineup coming up right now, and maybe I'll get a coffee too. See you soon. Don't go away, sweet and sour. Coffee.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Sweet and Sour. Gary Mitchell with you for the next half hour, and a terrific lot of panellists for you tonight. First, my mate James is here. Councillor James, the Deputy Lord Mayor of the City of Perth. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Gary. Lovely to be here.
Terrific to have you. I know you've been partying. I saw you yesterday.
Yes.
Didn't we have a good time?
At the Greek Halendi, we did.
It was fantastic.
It was great.
Sponsored by the City of Perth.
Absolutely, with pride.
You gave a good little speech there too.
Thank you.
Actually, everything was well received yesterday, wasn't it?
Excellent. It was actually for the second time in the second time running. It was very successful. It was quite an experience. It was emotional. We brought the whole community together. The broader community. It was great.
Harry was there too, but we'll talk to him in a minute. Beck, you didn't go to the Glendy yesterday,
No, I didn't.
No, in Perth, we're talking about the Glendy.
I did go for a nice bike ride with the family because the
Did ya?
sun was out, and went
Where'd
out
you
and got
go?
ice cream and just around our little area, and there's a nice little Bambino's, it's called, a little gelato
Holidays coming
place.
up when?
Holidays, well, we've just gone back to school, just finishing everything off now.
So you've got a breather?
I've got, no, this is the busy time.
This is the busy time?
Yeah, I'm closing off the book, getting it all proofread and everything, so getting all the apps sorted and, yeah.
All right, kids a buzz?
Yes.
Kids a buzz?
Yep.
Are your kids all a buzz?
Yes.
Of course.
They have to be. With a mum like you, they would have to be, without question. How's your voiceovers going?
Good.
I saw you on an ad the other
Yes,
night.
I'm on telly at the moment. Well, I'm on telly now, but you know,
What's the ad?
It's for the State Teachers Union. Yeah,
I got excited. I went, "There's Deanna! There's Deanna!" And there was no one else in the room, so. But I did get excited.
I look very stern.
You do look very stern.
serious and very stern and grumpy about public schools not getting funding, which I completely back. You know, I think it's atrocious. But
the big question is, are they good payers?
yes.
That's all.
So public schools aren't getting any money, but I do not pay.
H, how are you, sir?
Very good, thank you, Gary. Good to see you again. And
Still got your dancing shoes on from yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It was a fantastic day, James. Just the 2 kilos from all the Greek desserts, but it was very, very good.
H, what's happening in the market?
Mate,
I ask you every time you come on.
Melbourne Cup coming up, interest rate day. They won't move rates.
They won't move?
No, they're pretty flat at the moment, but we won't see a rate rise this time.
All right.
I think we're going to stay calm again.
We'll see. Can you
see what happens.
When do you see a movement?
Probably
One way or the other?
Early next year, I think.
Up or down?
Up.
Up?
There'll be a slight movement up.
Up?
We've just got to get the
We're starting to feel a bit more comfortable?
Yeah, we need to get the American election out of the way and find out what's going on.
We need to get Donald Trump out of the way.
We're all over it. Move on.
Move on. First letter. Speaking of moving on. Hi, panellists. This one's titled Kissing Cousins. Does anybody remember that Elvis movie, or are you all too young?
I actually wrote that.
I'm excited.
Kissing cousins.
Panellists, this is really awful. I don't want to go into too much detail, but we're a little distraught, my husband and I, because our daughter wants to marry her cousin, who is my husband's sister's son. We moved to Melbourne from country Victoria and have been here for 2 years. My daughter had left home years ago and moved to Sydney to get work, but never enjoyed the pace. When we moved to Melbourne, she also moved back with us. Her cousin was very obliging in showing her the city, and they went out, and I suppose they just kept going out together. We were shocked last week when they told us that they want to marry each other. As I said, I'm besides myself, and I don't know how to prevent this horrible, sickening situation. It's against everything decent I've ever known. I don't really want the law to get involved, but we don't know what to do. Could you give us some avenues, please? First up on this one, H.
Well, coming from a European background, we're related to almost everybody in Australia, so I don't see anything wrong with this, actually. There's a few cousins I wouldn't mind being kissing with, but yeah, I think you just look.
Are they yours?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with keeping it in a family, I reckon. And look, you're not sure what's going on here, and you might find out that your husband's sister's not your husband's sister.
Oh,
Could really
shame
crack
and
things-
scandal in the family.
Exactly.
I remember that.
You never know. Look, if they're getting on really well, I think in these days, if you can have a great relationship, even if you are related, mate, go for gold, I reckon.
Deanna, look, not that I know, but I'm sure we. Deanna. Did I,
And just so we all went,
she told me I'll be doing that all night if I do it once. Righto, Deanna Dustbin. All right. I'm sure we've discussed this years ago, and if my memory serves right, the medicos don't have a problem with it.
No, and it's not illegal either.
No, it's not.
And
Like,
it's not
she's
illegal.
talking about getting the law involved. It doesn't
Well, what
matter
are they
if you
gonna
want to
do?
get the law
It's not
involved or
illegal.
not. You can't anyway. It's not illegal. I googled it.
So
It's all good.
Yeah.
In
It's all
Australia,
good.
you can marry your cousin.
Yeah.
In fact, the only people you can't marry are your parents, your grandparents,
brother and sister.
brother and sister. That's
and
it.
your own
You can
child
marry
or
your
grandchild.
you can marry your auntie, your uncle, your
Yeah.
cousins,
You
whatever.
can marry your grandchild.
You can't.
Oh.
No, you can't.
Thank you.
I don't want to marry
But I agree with Harry. If they're happy, like honestly, what do you want? Do you want your children to be happy or do you want them to be unhappy? You know?
It's a bit of a cultural leftover, I think.
That's
you
it.
can marry.
Yeah.
You know, it's not illegal. I don't know whether certain churches will be against that sort of thing, but I don't know. I think,
And look, the thing is,
Why-
I think what she's
why-
worried about is what other people will think.
Yeah.
She's way more hung up on what other people will think than what's right for her kid.
country Victoria,
You know?
probably, small
Whose back
country
have you
town, knows
Look,
everybody.
My concern is if they have children. So that's my concern.
that's the
because,
medico's concern.
No, well, because children born to first cousins may have,
There's more
inevitably
chance
have a
that
2 in
they're
4 in 100 greater chance of being born with some serious genetic abnormality. So that's my concern. She's obviously old enough to make up her own mind. She can't help who you fall in love with, blah, blah, blah. And, there are some famous people who married first cousins. So Greta Scacchi.
Did she?
She did. Greta Scacchi. So she married
Wow.
US actor
Perth girl.
Vincent D'Onofrio, and she's been in a long-term relationship with her cousin. They've got 2 kids. Jerry Lee Lewis,
Yes, I remember that.
So-
and she was 13 at the time. I remember
who's
that.
known for his song "Great Balls of Fire." I should little project, I should say. He caused so much controversy by marrying his
remember.
13-year-old cousin.
13-year-old
Controversy was because she was 13. not
Albert
because-
Because it was
Einstein.
his cousin.
He married his
Queen
cousin.
Victoria and Prince Albert were first cousins.
Yep.
James, we'll bring you in for the last word on this
I'm
one.
sorry, guys. I have to disagree with you. I am more of a traditionalist. I personally am not a supporter of this. It does go against, like the mum says, every decent thing I have ever known. I find it really strange thinking at my own first cousins and looking at them in a physical, sexual, family
you don't
type
have
of
to
way.
marry your first cousin.
I just wouldn't do it. Now, country Victoria, maybe they haven't had the opportunity to meet other people, and the young lady met her cousin in the city and got excited, and he got excited. I don't know, but I disagree with it, guys.
All right, 3-1, I think, on the panel tonight. 3 said it's okay, but your point was very valid. If there's a
I'm not
medical
saying it's
issue,
okay. It's the
go and get it
child.
checked out
It's the
first.
child.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about all this gambling advertising on TV. Don't go away. We've got more gambling advertising coming up. See you soon. Oh man, have you people? Actually, somebody said to me earlier today that the amount of advertising, I think it was Travis, has gone down because you don't hear Tom.
Getting in touch with Sweet and Sour is easy. Just head to sweetandsour.net.au to send us a letter. And while you're there, why not check out our past episodes? Plus, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And for a behind-the-scenes look at Sweet and Sour, check us out on Instagram.
And we're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications, if you've sent us a letter tonight. So thank you, Natalie Cameron. And here we go with letter 2. Dear Sweet and Sour, Have you seen and heard the amount of gambling advertising on the television? You better thump me now so my mouth works. So there you go. On the television, radio, and on streaming services. It's completely obscene. Not only is the issue being ignored by anyone in government, and there is zero conversation about addressing any of it, but it also truly sits as a grave social ill, as socially destructive as tobacco and alcohol advertising, and both of these have been severely and appropriately limited by legislation. My 16-year-old grandson thinks nothing of accessing his phone app and betting on the footy scores. He's 16. He won the first time he placed a bet, and that was all it took to suck him in completely. His mother tells me that she can't fully control his access to gambling apps, and like me, doesn't understand how a 16-year-old should be able to access these apps for a start. Gambling addictions are just poison to our entire society, so I must ask, why is this deplorable social negative allowed to proliferate, and what will it take for the government to act? And it comes to us from Matilda, right here in Perth, East Vic Park, WA. First up, we're going to Councillor James.
Well, Matilda, I agree with you. I think it's a disgusting addiction. It's bad. It creates, it's a catalyst for a lot of things that go wrong in society. That is substance abuse as well, stealing from the workplace. I think that we have to take this as a community and as elected members have to take this a lot more seriously than it's currently being taken. Just like, as mentioned in your letter, the issue of alcohol and tobacco has been dealt with very severely. We've got to do the same with gambling. I believe it is equally as destructive, if not more destructive.
It is, I agree with you. All right, come on, Bec.
Oh, I hate it. Hate it. Matilda, I'm with you 110%. I find it's so hard, and I've got two boys, 11 and 12, and I can be at the shops with them and they're saying, Mum, buy me some scratchies. And it's the thrill. It's the thrill of them scratching and wanting to win.
Buy me scratchies.
You know, it just worries me so much that it's already, gambling is in their veins. It's on TV, it's in pages, it's you know, newspapers, everything. And that they're getting endorsed by famous people, you know, or sports stars. Celebrities, not, you know, famous, but you know, it's young males aged between 10 and 26 gamble more frequently and problematically.
Aged between what?
10 and 26 than young females.
Why aren't
it's
10-year-olds
so increased
being
over the
stopped?
years. Oh, it's ridiculous. You know,
Because they can't. These apps are appalling.
So only a couple of weeks ago, my boys were on their iPads and playing a game, and I could hear them cheering and cheering. And I went up and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, we're just betting on the horses." They have a kids' game.
How old are your kids again?
10 and 11. They have a child's game that you look at the book. So you go to the bookie, you look at the book, you place your bet, you put the horses go into the starting thing, and off they go.
That's disgusting.
And my son, my 12, he won, and he goes, "Yeah, but I collected $10. I collected 10."
No.
It was just the terminology they're using. So you know, and they're on a kid's PG game site.
How do you feel?
Well, the thing that I agree with everything that everyone's said so far, right? So I don't really need to go over any of that stuff again, but I back all of it completely. What baffles me is how a 16-year-old is able to access this stuff.
And a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old.
That's a kid's game. But,
do you have
my
to be
children,
18?
listen, my children don't download anything on the iPad without coming and talking to me first. Because if they do, the iPad goes. They do not have it anymore. So there is that to start with. That's how I control their access to things. But a proper gambling one, you have to put in credit card details. You have to provide identification. So either this kid has gotten someone else to do it for them, or they've pinched mum's details or something, right?
Kids are smart.
16-year-olds can get a credit card.
Mum, I want to buy
you have
this.
to put your
Can you
age
give
and
me your
everything into
credit
it.
card? Happens all the time. I've seen
and
it.
my point is, if that's what's happening, that's not necessarily the kid's fault. A 16-year-old needs to be managed.
He's still at home, 16, a minor, absolutely.
Harry, Harry, why aren't the legislators on to this already?
It's all about tax, mate. It's all about
collecting.
tax. It's all about tax. They're collecting taxes.
And then they have to go and spend it
They're collecting tax
to fix it all up.
I think it's tax from gaming. I think I think a very good friend of mine, Brianna, said a similar thing, is the tax and the revenue you need to be very careful with. But the reality of it is education. You've got to actually sit down and show the 16-year-old kid that the reason why gambling exists is the win-loss ratio is in the favour of the provider. It's, you know,
Absolutely.
you've got
That's what gambling
you've got
is.
to-
It comes
you've
from
got to
home.
sit down and say, you know, you're betting this, your win-loss ratio is you might be winning now, but you are going to lose in the future.
It is
And more
designed
exactly,
to make
that's
you
exactly
lose.
right.
We wouldn't
So
sit down and let our 16-year-old have a beer
Yep.
or a scotch or something.
Yep.
So why is he allowed to
I think,
gamble?
and also, especially in downloading apps, you need a unique password to be able to download the app, and just need to take control of that.
Yes.
And I think that if they're not going to play cricket and he's not going to give this up, then you need to
Take away.
Take away the access, yeah.
That's it, because it'll only get worse.
We've got to get our legislators onto this.
Exactly.
It's appalling. When we come
So-
back, we're going to try and get a job for an 18-year-old. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour coming up.
That's it.
This is
Sweet and sour, it's a little bit like naughty and nice. In good measure, there's nothing like it.
Time for sweet and sour.
blurring us out. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. Straight into the letter. Hi, Mitch and panellists. How do I motivate this kid? He's an 18-year-old uni student who only has 10 hours of actual class contact per week in a course that's not overly heavy. He's had a part-time job when he was younger, but when the business he was working at was sold about a year ago, he lost the job that he had since he was 15, and he hasn't bothered to apply anywhere since then. His mother and I have stopped dishing out the funds, but he's eating into his own bank to keep going out with his mates and head to Macca's of an evening. His grandparents gave him $5,000 to buy a car, but I can tell you that would almost be completely eaten away, and needless to say, he's never bought the car. He's also stopped going to the gym, and he used to be super fit. His older sister is completely different. She held down a solid job during the last 3 years, and she's been at uni, bought her own car, and keeps super fit. He's a completely different kettle of fish, and we have no idea after 6 months how to get him up earlier than 11 a.m. every day and get him into life. He needs a job. Any suggestions? And it comes to us from Ted of Hazelwood Park in South Australia. Deanna,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
He doesn't need a job. Look,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry,
needs
but he
based.
doesn't need a job right now. He has a house to live in, he has a bed to sleep in, he has a fridge full of food
And his
that he can get anytime he's
grandparents
like.
gave him
His
5
grandparents
grand.
gave him $5,000. I'll tell you what you do. You tell him he has to pay the grandparents back the $5,000. You start charging him board, or you kick him out of the house. Then he'll have to get a job. Problem solved.
What were you like when you were 18? Were you
I had-
motivated? Did you have a job?
Well, I
Were
had
you
to
studying?
have a job. My parents didn't have enough money to support me, as well as my younger sister and brother. So I bought my own car when I was 18. I had a job from the time I was 15. I paid for my own way through uni, the whole kit and caboodle, because I had to. He does not need a job. You
No necessity.
are making him not need a job.
Enabling him.
Yeah.
Enablers. Yeah.
Stop enabling him, and
Your
he'll have
fault,
to get a job.
perhaps. H,
Yeah.
what do you reckon?
Look, whether you get him a job or not, get him out dealing with and interacting with people. I think maybe even get him to volunteer somewhere and do some volunteer work.
How are you going to get him to do that if you can't get him to
Well-
actually be motivated with the dollar?
You don't need to be so negative. So look, you just get volunteering, put his name down for things, drag him out there. The car thing, like, look, if you know, I want to be like the sister, buy a car and get super fit. I want to know what sort of car she bought. But the reality of it is, whether he gets a car or whether he doesn't get a car, or whether he does something or doesn't do something, stop making him wrong, support him. He's obviously going through some sort of stuff and he's not telling you about it. You don't know why he doesn't want to go to work. Maybe he had an incident happen there or whatever the case is. As you said, he obviously loved the job that was there before the business got sold. I'd just backpedal off him a little bit and support him instead of making him wrong.
Harry, I agree with you. Actually, I would have, originally I would have jumped on and said, you know, it's your fault and the kid's lazy and whatever, but in the role that I hold, the public role that I hold, I have seen many cases of mental health issues and children suffering, and you don't know whether they've been abused in that part-time job. You don't know what it is, like you rightfully said, that has made this person just stop from being very motivated to go to the gym and very motivated about his work and having responsibilities. So, and I've seen and met people that have actually experienced that are young people that come from perfectly normal houses, and you think, there's nothing wrong in your life. You've got everything, but there's some traumatic things that have happened to them that they are too frightened to deal with, and they end up on the street. They do end up getting kicked out of home. Their parents abuse them and call them that they're useless. They're on the street, they start to get involved in drugs, they start to break down. And then in the end, the parents are crying and wishing that they can bring the kids back and say, look, I made a mistake. I should have got them checked, and I should have got them to the right people first and made those assessments. So for me, it's about find out what made him turn.
Find out.
Sit with him and listen to his point of view. Really work with your children. You've got an obligation to work with your children. 18 years old is not old. We're not back in the 60s where people had to get old very quickly. We're in a different age and time now. There are a lot more pressures on children, on people, on humans, on us as older people through technology and the demands of the world. I think you need to spend the time with your child, work out what his problem is, but show them love and just compassion and really get to the bottom of it.
Come on, Bec.
Yeah,
Final word to a woman.
I do agree, and I think this letter could have been written a little bit differently. Instead of the nagging and the whinging, it should have been for panellists. What can I do to motivate him? We're worried, we're concerned. He's not like his sister. He's not going to be like his sister. So first of all, stop comparing him. I'm really, I'm concerned that maybe there is depression, and you don't want to start that, and that's a really big concern for me and alarm bells. Maybe Dad and he can go out and do a bit of bonding, go and do, a night away camping, go and, just have a chat to him. Has anybody actually sat down and said, hey, love, is anything wrong? Like, are you okay? Because no wonder he's sleeping until 11. He probably doesn't want to get up. He on his case all the time.
Or until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and that's the thing you don't know. I know, and he might be. But again, that's even an issue. You don't want him to become, in this virtual world either. Encourage him. Certainly stop the money. You're just enabling him there. I think he should be responsible, and even if it's $50 or $100 a week or something,
something to be owning the space.
You like living here. This is great, but you can't. He's 18. He does have to take responsibility at some stage here, but they do need to say as well, we are not doing this anymore. But I'm concerned
in a loving, supportive
how he
way,
is. Yeah. Just get off his case a little bit.
Do you like this letter to give away the pair of limited edition sunnies, courtesy of Alon Treves and Aussie Opticals? Or do you like another one? Which one do you like?
I like number 2 from Matilda, and only because the gambling's close to my heart.
Gambling.
James likes number 2 as well.
Gambling.
James likes number 2. Harry?
Number 3.
Number 3.
You like number 3?
I like number 3.
Unmotivated.
Yeah, just cause.
They're the Clinton camp. And
Is that what we are?
No.
Oh, actually, I think you're the Trump. We're the Clinton.
You want to be the Trump camp?
No.
Coming out over here.
No, you said Perth before.
Coming out over here. Nothing to do with Trump.
No.
Who did you say? Number 3.
Guys, Barley's nothing to do with me.
Ted
Trump.
of Hazelwood Park in South Australia, simply because someone slipped up and said Trump. We don't like Mr. Trump. Sorry. And James has jumped camp. He's over on our side as well. I've had a terrific time tonight. Thank you for being part of the show tonight, James. Good luck with the City of Perth. What's coming up? Anything exciting that we should tell all of our interstate viewers?
A lot of exciting things. We're working very hard at the city to keep our... we've got actually a very exciting program that we're working on.
Quickly?
No, I can't release it yet.
That's quick. It's very exciting.
Kids are buzzers a go. Kids are buzzers a go. We're going to see you on what commercial?
The one about State Teachers Union,
Look for a
public schools,
face.
things.
H. It's not going to move for
2 months.
2 months. There we
It's going to
go.
be cool, lads.
It's going to go up
Thank all
A little bit.
Thank our terrific crew. Thank you, crew, and thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
That's it. Well done.
Bye-bye.